Hey guys, the trailer to the new Breath of the Wild sequel is out and I cannot wait to start talking about this thing. It looks amazing, and what better way to start talking about it than a full-on analysis video. So let's jump right into it. So as the trailer starts, the first thing we see is this spiraling text, and at first I thought it was Sheikah text because we see Sheikah text all over the shrines and the Sheikah slate. It's very prominent in the original Breath of the Wild, but after looking at it, it really does not look like Sheikah text. Sheikah text is a very different kind of style. So I thought maybe it is Hylian, and at the same time, this is very different to Hylian, especially for what we've seen. So I have three ideas on what this could be. One, it is Gerudo, because we've seen a lot of Gerudo imagery later on in this trailer. Still with that, that's very iffy. This doesn't look, I don't recognize this as Gerudo. So another one is that this is writing used by the Zonai tribe, and the Zonai tribe were a group of people mentioned in the original Breath of the Wild. They were the people who made the giant stone structures and statues within the Faron region. They also made the giant labyrinths which you can go through to get shrines. This could be very interesting if it is them. They've obviously only been mentioned in one game, but it was the sequel game to this, and it would be really cool to have this new lore from a new group of people. So obviously this text could also only be just random text from something we don't know, but it is really interesting to think about because it's very prominent. I want to understand this text. Is it spiritual? Is it magical? Is it a creature in itself? I'm really interested in this. So next up we see the text all kind of spiraling down towards this figure in the middle who we'll see more of in a bit, and I have a lot to say about them. And around them there is a lot of stone structures. They have these like kind of spikes sticking out of the walls at all directions pointing towards this figure, and they are very reminiscent to me of the structures that appear outside of Hyrule Castle in the first game, and they also remind me of some imagery in Twilight Princess. The spirals on them remind me of in the lakes, where you have the spirits. They had these kind of spiral patterns around a lot of the stone around those areas, so it reminded me a little of that. At the bottom you obviously have this figure which this spiral is going towards, and we'll see up close to that in a little bit. But at the bottom there's also all this malice, and the malice, I can't tell if it's going towards it or if it's coming away from it, kind of like emanates, like I don't know what the word is, kind of being drawn out of it or drawn towards it, if it's going out of this creature or inside of it. And it's really, it just looks, this scene is so interesting. I love it. At the very top as well, they also where the spiral is coming from, there's a lot of stone work up there, and it looks like little bricks or whatever, but it also kind of looks like, to me, it looks like spines, and it's really kind of creepy. This whole trailer has a very creepy feel to it, and I love it so much. It has a very Majora's Mask Twilight Princess feel. After this bit, we get to the torch lighting up the wall, and I really like this bit because you have old paintings or kind of stone paintings on the wall, and we see a lot of this in Zelda. We see kind of artwork like this in the original Breath of the Wild when you're talking to Impa and she tells you the whole story of Calamity Ganon. There's artwork that we see in that kind of cutscene, very similar to this. We also see stone artwork, not exactly like this, but in a similar style to this in Skyward Sword at the beginning of that. But this is depicting what looks to me to be Ganondorf or some type of warrior. He does to me look very much like Ganondorf, on a horse, and he's even holding a trident, so I'm pretty sure this is depicting Ganondorf, and it's very exciting. So this is, I think there's also some other little drawings around it. This is probably a small part of a much bigger picture, but I'm very like excited to see something like this, something depicting Ganondorf in a game in Breath of the Wild. So that to me is definitely a depiction of Ganondorf. He has the trident, and we haven't actually seen Ganondorf with the trident in any game. I think we've seen Ganon in the classic games with a trident, but we haven't seen, apart from Hyrule Warriors, but that doesn't count, but we haven't seen Ganondorf with a trident, and it's going to be really exciting if he's in this game, which I'm pretty sure he will be, with his trident. That'd be really cool. So in the next clip, we go back to the spiraling words and text all going down towards this figure, and we get to see it from above. There's not too much more to say here. You can see the malice at the bottom. You can see the text. It's pretty much the same as the first part. Okay, and this is the scene which gave it away to me. This is what I just like. I was kind of confused when watching this the first time on what this might be, because there wasn't anything really straight up saying it was Zelda until I watched it back and obviously kind of looked at that picture more and stuff. But this is what gave it away. So here we have Zelda on, I think this is like some type of cow. I've seen a lot of people kind of say it's a creature we haven't seen in Zelda yet, or it's like an elephant, or it's like a something, I don't know. But to me this looks like one of the cows, or like sometimes a type of ox, or a bull or something from Breath of the Wild. I'm pretty sure they had cows with horns or something in the original game, and it looks to me like that. So Zelda's on this, I'm gonna say cow just for the sake of it. Here we have Zelda, and at the front we have Link leading the way. It's very interesting that Zelda's on this, but I'm guessing they don't want her getting tired, I don't know. But they obviously have a lot of stuff on this animal. They have, it looks like camping supplies, they have bags full of it. So I wonder if in the game, depending on where this is set, we will not have a horse, and we will instead be using an animal like this. This would be, I'd be down for that. That would be really cool. Also, in this scene, you can see a little mouse, which is cute, but we've got these crystals, and I first thought these might be like the ore deposits, like the Luminous Stone. It definitely is some type of Luminous Stone because of this lighting up, but I don't think it's the ore deposit. I think it's just like a crystal, and it's cool to see that, because I don't think this is an ore deposit. I think this is just some type of Luminous Stone crystal. So in the background as well, we have all this stone structure, and this is very, very reminiscent of the stone structures in the original Breath of the Wild made by the Zonai tribe, and that's kind of also why I thought that text might have something to do with them. Link and Zelda are clearly pretty far underground, and this is just, it's really interesting to see this, because to me it gives off this whole forgotten kind of feel, that this wall, this stone structure has been forgotten, and it's just there, it's under the ground. So it definitely has that kind of look of the Zonai tribe stuff. It looks like the stuff you'll find in Faron Woods, and it's really quite interesting to see. I have a lot of theories about this game already, and we've only seen one trailer. Okay, so in the next scene, we can see that figure now, which the light and the malice is going towards, and it's kind of like they're standing up, but they are falling backwards. And so it's like their feet are kind of, imagine their feet are stuck to the ground. They can't move their feet, but they are kind of falling backwards. That's how it looks. And we see the spiral of the text. It does actually look more like text around the top as well, and then it fades more to just kind of light. And the light bit definitely looks more like Sheikah, kind of in the shrines when you get your runes, it looks like that a little bit. Another thing about this is the color of the text is more of a greeny color, and the Sheikah colors are more blue. So that's another thing that drawed me away from saying this was Sheikah technology. Of course, it still could be Sheikah technology, maybe stuff we haven't seen, maybe that's ancient Sheikah technology, but this to me does not scream Sheikah. This screams something different. This is something different to me. Obviously in this we also have Link and Zelda, who have just come like up to this figure, and they've found it for the first time, I'm guessing, and everyone's freaking out about Zelda. I freaked out about Zelda's hair in the trailer. I love Zelda with short hair, it's really cute. I remember a long time ago when the Breath of the Wild came out, someone did a bunch of edits of Zelda with different hairstyles, and someone made one with her with short hair, basically in this exact style, and I loved it. So I'm really happy she's got short hair. So that's a bit of a side note, it has nothing really to do with what's going on in the trailer, but it's cool. They also, something about Link is at first I thought Link was wearing the tunic shown in all of the was it the Champion's Tunic, but this looks like to be the Hylian Tunic, I think it's called. It has shoulder pads and it has more padding on it. It's the same design. It looks like it, to me, it's like a mix of the Champion's Tunic and the Hylian Tunic. It has the padding and the shoulder pads and stuff from the Hylian Tunic, which you can get in Breath of the Wild, and it obviously has the patterns on the actual fabric of the Champion's Tunic. And with Zelda, she's wearing her like her normal adventuring clothes, and she actually has a new cape. We haven't seen this cape before, and I was trying to work out what the pattern on the back was, if it was anything significant, and it to me looks like the what would be a tabard on her royal Zelda outfit, which you see in a few of the cutscenes. The memories, she has like this yellow bit of fabric that hangs at the front of her dress, and to me that's the exact same pattern. It looks like that to me, so that's interesting. Maybe it's just something that she's going to have on a bunch of her costumes. So yeah, there's not much really to say about here. You got Link and Zelda and this figure with all the light and the kind of like the light and darkness, but I'm not entirely sure that this light may be all good, so it's very interesting. In the next scene we have Link and Zelda kind of at this little underground river, and this scene just is really peaceful to me. It's just kind of a chilled out, relaxing kind of moment, I feel. You got the cow, I'm pretty sure that's a cow or some type of cow drinking. You've got Zelda, I think, just washing her face, and you have Link looking like, it looks like Link is kind of just sorting out kind of the bags and the stuff they're carrying on the cow. Over here you also have a pillar, and this still has that kind of Zonai tribe carvings and markings. So I'm getting very big kind of feeling that they could actually have a big part in this game. There's also a bunch more of the crystals around there, the Luminous Crystals, and yeah, like I said, this scene is just very peaceful. It's like they've come a long way and they're taking a break and they're just gonna sit and talk for a bit. Another thing this kind of reminds me of is with the crystals, with the darkness, with the Zonai tribe carving stuff. It reminds me of, oh goodness, what's it called? There's a place in Breath of the Wild where the whole area is shrouded in darkness, and within this there's a shrine and you have to go through it. You have to use torches and luminous stones and lanterns and all this kind of stuff to find the shrine, and it's all pitch black. It reminds me kind of that as well, which is very, very cool. I'd like to see more like stuff like that in this game. And here we have the little mouse again. No! So this little mouse is definitely in for a surprise, and I've got kind of a couple of ideas on what might be happening. Simply, the malice may be coming up the stairs, following Link and Zelda maybe, and this mouse just dies. Or perhaps this mouse becomes corrupted by the malice and becomes some type of creature. There are creatures in the Zelda series which are basically big rats. In Twilight Princess you had, I think they were called ghoul rats, and they were invisible, but they were basically rat enemies. And there are basic mice and rat enemies in other Zelda games. I would be down for monster rats infected by malice to have as enemies. I think that'd be pretty cool. This scene next, I absolutely just love. I can't tell. This may just be Link and Zelda going over the bridge, or it might be monsters on the bridge. I can't exactly tell, but we do have obviously this beautiful stone bridge, still giving off that feel of the kind of Zonai tribe look. There are these beautiful crystals everywhere. This place, wherever they are, is dark and spooky, but it's also very pretty to me. I love it. It's very got that forgotten kind of temple kind of vibe. But yes, as I said, I can't tell completely. I'm pretty sure it is Link and Zelda, but it could also be something like a moblin or a bokoblin at the top of on this bridge. There isn't too much more to say about this, but I just love how beautiful this place looks. I don't know what is going on in half of this, but it's just beautiful and spooky, and I love it. And the next bit, we just have Link and Zelda. We get a better look at them, and they look so pretty. Zelda is taking a lot of charge, I feel. She feels, to me, It feels like she's the one kind of leading the way. She's the one who has planned this. She's obviously, you get to better look at her hair, and you get a better look at Link's tunic, which I said about. And it definitely, from this scene, you can definitely see that's the Hylian tunic with the champion tunic design. Zelda definitely seems to still be in what she was wearing in her adventuring kind of outfit in the past memory scenes from the original game. This scene, I love it. And it makes me feel that perhaps we will be able to play as Zelda. I would love to be able to play as Zelda. Either we pick Link or Zelda to play as, or there are parts in the game where we have to switch, so we play as Link and then we play as Zelda, and maybe things we do as Link affect things that we do as Zelda. It kind of like a Resident Evil 2 thing, but this would be really, really cool. And we get another look at the kind of figure. They seem to be like on kind of a pedestal. Exactly, the stonework at the bottom reminds me a little bit of where you get the Master Sword in the original, well, not original, but in Ocarina of Time. It reminds me of that, where you walk up the stairs and there's the Master Sword in the middle. Gives me that kind of feeling, but yeah, it looks kind of like they're on a pedestal for some reason, just something like that. You got the malice and the light and blah blah blah, I've said that before. And here is the bit which had me freaking out the most. The music suddenly takes a more sinister tone. The music from now, I haven't mentioned it, but it's been this kind of eerie, spiritual sounding chanting, and it's very spooky, very cool at the same time. It's mixed feelings. It's creepy, but it seems calming at the same time. But at this point, there is a lot more sinister undertones to the music, and listening to it, it feels like Ganondorf's music. It's not exactly the same as Ganondorf's classic theme, but it definitely sounds very similar to it. And so with this, we see this figure with very long red hair and Gerudo symbols. You can see right on, like, I think it's his shoulder, there's like a Gerudo symbol right there. And then on the next bit, you see, just plain as day, there's a Gerudo symbol on this bit of fabric. He has, I'm pretty sure it's a dude, but he has these big kind of chains or bracelets. They could, yeah, I think they might be bracelets, but they could very well be chains that have over time maybe snapped. But there it is, plain as day, Gerudo symbol. And that fabric as well has also definitely aged. That's been there a very long time. And right for a second, the hand which this energy is going towards, and it's attached itself right onto, I'm going to say Ganondorf for this, because I'm pretty sure this is Ganondorf. It's attached itself to Ganon's chest, and it also looks like all the malice is coming out of his chest, like he has been like wounded, or this hand is holding into his chest to kind of keep the malice back, or something like that. There isn't much more. You can get these really, you can definitely see that this is like a spiritual, magical kind of being, other than a physical thing. I feel it has these kind of stone or metal patterns up the arm, which is some type of jewelry, I think, or something to it. And that, it's interesting. I'm trying to think of like things that this could relate to, and I don't feel it's like Sheikah. I feel that Breath of the Wild had a big focus on Sheikah technology and the Sheikah altogether, which I was very excited for. But I feel that this game is going to maybe focus on something we haven't seen before. Maybe the Zonai tribe, maybe something entirely new, maybe even the Gerudo. But it's very interesting to kind of think about all this. I definitely will be doing more kind of like videos coming up, giving in-depth talks about certain things a bit more, because I'm very excited for this. Okay, and now we get this figure. We can see clearly what they look like. This is like just a skeletal remains of someone, or like a re-dead. It looks very much like a re-dead, and we'll see in a bit, they pretty much are a re-dead. They are arched over, like I said. They have one arm kind of hanging beside them, and the other arm's kind of, you can see, it's a bit harder to see, but it's in the background. His other arm is reaching out almost to grab at something, nearly. On his forehead, there is this glowing gem, and I think it's a gem. I'm going to say it's a gem, like a jewelry But I've seen a couple of people say on Twitter and stuff that it is an eye, but to me it just looks like jewelry. He also has jewelry all over his arms and is covered in like this cloth around him. And obviously you see the malice and the hand, all very creepy. Okay, this goes really quickly, the next bit. You have Link with his arm stretched, and that's his right hand. So it's not the sword, it's not his hand he uses with his sword, and this comes into theories with things I have later. But I'm just going to say what's going on. Link's hand is getting kind of like, he's absorbing, I feel, this power that the hand attached to Ganondorf has. And this could be a gameplay mechanic. I really much feel that this is definitely going to be something to do with the kind of main gameplay mechanic in this game. Like the Breath of the Wild had the Sheikah Slate, that was kind of the main thing about that. This, I feel, is going to be the new kind of itemy thing that we have in this game. The next shot after that has a ton of malice shooting upwards towards the ceiling, and we can see that this is the exact same place where that spirit energy light stuff was coming down, and now it's not there, it's gone. So what I'm guessing is perhaps that that energy disappeared, or maybe Link and Zelda did something and it removed itself, and as soon as that thing was gone, all of the malice and the energy and the just darkness from this creature, this, what I'm saying obviously is Ganondorf, shot up into the sky, and is very bad kind of feeling. It just, that's not going to lead anywhere good. We have also this scene of Link and Zelda reaching to hold hands. There's a scene, I think in a second, which looks like the ground breaks and Zelda falls. So I'm guessing that's part of that, and Link maybe trying to grab her hand. But this could come into gameplay. I feel that maybe in part of the game at least, Link and Zelda get separated and you'll be playing as both of them to try and team back up or to help each other. I really, really hope Zelda's playable. In the next scene, this got me excited. This looks to me straight away like the entrance to a classic Zelda dungeon. Like the Zelda dungeons from the original game all had this kind of look of being like a big mouth or a face, and you'd walk in through the mouth. This just definitely looks like that, and I'm so excited to see that because I really hope we get classic Zelda dungeons back. If you know me, I had a few problems with Breath of the Wild. I love the game to death, but I would have liked to see more classic dungeons and more enemies and all that kind of stuff. But this is really exciting, and I really hope that it is the entrance to a classic dungeon because it would be so cool. As well as this, this definitely also looks like something made by the Zono tribe. It looks like the what are they called? The big labyrinths. The walls look like the walls of the giant labyrinths you go through in Breath of the Wild, and it definitely looks like that. It's very exciting to see it, and this whole picture just makes me so happy because obviously it would be so cool to get some classic Zelda dungeons. You go down the stairs and there is your creepy underground dungeon, labyrinth, what you want to call it. And then the camera zooms into the mouth as well. That's pretty cool. Here, in the next part, I can't tell whose hand that is. I think it might be Link's. And I think it's Link's because obviously the Link absorbs that power from I'm guessing from this light, and this hand is grabbing him. So I feel that's Link's, but it also could be Zelda. It is hard to tell, it's just a hand. But obviously this power, this light, this spirit, whatever it is grabbing hold of Link or Zelda, depending on who it is. And if it's Link, perhaps this is when the energy goes into his hand, and we get that scene before, maybe that's when that happens. Or if this is Zelda, maybe it's doing something else, I don't know. This whole trailer is full of so many questions that I need answering, and that's why I want this game to come out. Ugh. But this is interesting because it could mean Link's getting a new ability, Link's getting a power, blah 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 blah. Or it could be maybe it's grabbing onto Zelda, maybe to try and steal her power, maybe to help her. We don't know. We don't know if this thing is good or evil. Okay, here is another scene, and this, it took me a while to see kind of entirely what was going on in this. We have the figure of Ganondorf on the floor with the spiral, and then there is like a lightning flash or just a flash of light, and we see on the wall for a split second, we see, which is to me absolutely clearly Ganondorf with this hand reaching towards him, and it is very, very cool. So I said at the beginning when we saw the picture on the wall that I thought that was a small part of a bigger picture, and I'm pretty sure it is now. I'm pretty sure that the whole walls maybe surrounding this area are painted in kind of pictures reflecting what happened here maybe, and it's very cool to see something like this. I'm really excited, and I want to try and get it there. So I keep missing it or whatever. Okay. So when it lights up, you can, that is definitely Ganondorf. He is in the same position that he is in the, now, the skeletal Ganondorf with his hands are in the exact same position as Ganondorf is in this image. And that's clearly Ganondorf. You can definitely see the proportions are more to what you'd expect. He's much bigger. You can definitely see it on his face as well. That's more of a structure for Ganondorf's face. And we have the hand obviously stretching out towards him. And this could obviously be stretching out of just be the way it is, that the rock is where it's coming out of. Or that could be like the side of someone's body, and that body is the one who obviously holds the hand. And I know I just said that I feel that this is painted, but now I'm looking at it more. I know I'm changing what I'm saying, but now I'm looking at it more. I feel that this is kind of like a memory. The light has flashed and they've shown, we can see what's happening now, and the light shows what happened before, how this happened, and it shows Ganondorf being kind of attacked by this hand. That's what I feel. I don't think it's painted on the wall. Now I'm looking at it, it does look more like a shadow, and this is like one of the most interesting parts of the trailer for me. I'm really, really excited by this, because even if that figure turns out not to be Ganondorf still had something to do with this. That is definitely a Gerudo dude. And here we have the floor falling, and like I said, I feel Link and Zelda will grab hands to try and save one another, or Link grabs Zelda's hand to try and save her, and yeah, I feel they're gonna get split up, and either we play as Link to save Zelda, or we have to play as both of them. So in this next scene, we see Zelda, and she's come across this hand, obviously from the figure, which I'm saying is Ganondorf, and it's really interesting, because I feel this whole trailer is definitely out of order of what's actually happening. It's not in order. It's been cut up and moved around to make it more intense and interesting. So maybe Link is simply off to the side and we can't see him, or maybe when they fell, Zelda fell into this chamber with this creature, and then Link turns up a little later. And also during this, you can see the fingers on the creature twitch, like it isn't fully dead, it is alive. And in the next bit, you see Zelda quickly turning around. Maybe she fell down and she's walking around, and she then hears something and she turns quickly to see it, and then she sees this figure of Ganondorf. Or maybe she is in this area and she's already seen this, and then she walks away, and then it makes more noises, or it twitches, or it moves more. Also in this, you can see a bunch of red lights, which are something you see a lot in the original Breath of the Wild. When you're fighting Calamity Ganon underneath Hyrule Castle, there is a huge room which you fight him in, and it has all these red lights, and it's pretty much the Sheikah technology taken over by Ganon, and I'm not sure exactly if these are lights or if these are kind of like fire sparks or something, but that's what it reminds me of. And here we have a very good look at this creature, this Ganondorf, and we can get a closer look at his face in this bit, but it's not entirely, like, you can't tell much from that. That if this turns out to be Ganondorf, I'll be sad. Not to be Ganondorf, I'll be sad. But even if it is Ganondorf, he's obviously so skeletal, so zombie-like, you can't actually definitively say, oh yeah, that's Ganondorf. He doesn't even have a beard. Ganondorf normally has a beard. I mean, he doesn't in Ocarina of Time, but I'm going off track. You can see the long red hair again. You can see that's definitely not an eyeball. That is like a gem or some type of power or something magical. Maybe it looks more shiny than anything else, so maybe that's like some type of magical stone in a crown on his forehead. You obviously had the Garuda symbols as well on him, and then you get him waking up, and his eyes are pretty much the exact same of the eyes you had to shoot on Calamity Ganon at the very end of Breath of the Wild. Obviously those ones were much bigger, but they have the exact same pattern, they look exactly the same. And there's all this dark energy that comes out at the same time when he opens his eyes. This trailer is so dark and spooky, and I love it so much, and I really, really hope that this game keeps with a dark atmosphere and kind of has that Majora's Mask Twilight Princess feel. And then we get to probably the weirdest part of the trailer. This trailer is very weird altogether. But you see Hyrule Castle and you see Hyrule, and it's beautiful, and there's no Calamity Ganon. This is definitely taking place after. I think this game will take place a month or a couple of months after Breath of the Wild finished. One thing I want to point out here is there are no Sheikah Towers from what I can see. All the Sheikah Towers have disappeared. Maybe they've gone back underground. And then we see Hyrule Castle, and there's a lot of smoke. And Hyrule Castle slowly lifts up. This is really, really the weirdest part of this trailer, because I don't know what to expect from Hyrule Castle lifting. Maybe Hyrule Castle lifts up and we can go we'll enter a giant hole which is underneath Hyrule Castle, which goes underneath Hyrule, and we explore under Hyrule. Or maybe Hyrule Castle just explodes a second after this and we don't see it. There's so many questions. It's so weird. I don't know what could be lifting this up. Maybe it is the dark malice, the malice we saw shoot up. Maybe that is what's pushing it up. Maybe that's so powerful, this whole underground area, perhaps maybe getting filled with malice that it shoots up and then will spill out across Hyrule again. That could happen. That could be very, very interesting to do. Hyrule completely consumed by malice. That would be very cool. And at the end again we see the lights, and like this time they're not turning into letters, they are simply floating away, and it's very Twilight Princess feeling. And during this part as well there's also a heartbeat, which makes me feel that it kind of represents this creature, the Ganondorf figure, waking up. That's what it makes me feel. It feels like the heartbeat of a dark evil is awoken. This power is coming back, and Hyrule is screwed. And it's just very creepy. This whole trailer is so creepy. And at the end, obviously, we see the sequel to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild is now in development. I am so excited for this game. I hope it doesn't take too many years to come out. It's definitely not coming out this year. It could come out next year, very late next year if we are extremely lucky. But I feel realistically it's 2021 we're looking at or beyond. Makes me sad to say that, but that seems the most logical. If it comes out next year, I will be ecstatic, because obviously they have a lot of the stuff they need to work with already from Breath of the Wild. They could, if we don't know how far exactly they are along, but they could. We could see Breath of the Wild next year if we are very lucky. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really want to do more videos talking about this, maybe take an in-depth something and do an in-depth talk about it. A theory. I have a lot of different ideas for this game already, and I am very excited. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a like, please subscribe for more. I will be doing more as this game comes out and as we find out more information. I am extremely excited, and until the next video guys, see ya, bye!